are times when something comes along that is an absolute pure-grade plutonium perfect combination of everything that you absolutely love about something. In my case, it's film. Look, I'm not hard to please. I love action, I love violence, I love sleaze, sex, neon, synth, metal. If you put at least a few of those in your picture, I'm bound to dig it. Films that live up to this standard, I'd say my top picks are the Exterminator films, Savage Streets, Miami Connection, Escape from New York, Fear City, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher, and Cobra. Well, those aren't my only top picks. I just decided to stop around there because fuck doing that much editing. So yeah. Also, Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Street Trash, The Warriors, RoboCop, Blade Runner, They Live, Dread, Drive, You're Next, Bronson, The Guest. Alright, if I keep this up, I'll be here forever. Gotta switch subjects. Video games. I'm fairly certain that my affinity for vigilante-centric movies comes from my love for old-school beat-em-up games. I'm not sure which is the chicken or the egg. Does it matter? Not really. It's been far too long to pinpoint which came first for me. But I do know that I love games like Final Fight, Streets of Rage, Bad Dudes, and Double Dragon, and that they remind me of the films I've listed. To finally get to the point, though, I'm fairly certain that I've found my absolute pure-grade plutonium perfect combination of everything that I love in a movie, and it is within Jim Van Bebber's 1988 film, Deadbeat at Dawn. Goose is the leader of the toughest gang in town, the Ravens, but he has other things to worry about, like the love of his woman. After one too many rumbles with the spiders, Goose's girl wants him to quit the hard life and just settle down with her. It seems like everything is going to pan out for Goose and Christy. They're taking romantic rides on stolen motorcycles, having sex in the woods and shit, but the life of a street tough is not an easy one to quit. When Goose is out doing a drug deal, Danny, the leader of the Spiders, sends out his two best hitters and they destroy Christy.
I can't even help myself.
I could say kill, but I think kill is a little light for face smashed into a pile of mushy nothing with golf clubs. I'd say that fits the description of destroy.
Goddamn rich cunt! I kill rich cunts!
The rest of the story basically pretty much just plays out like the game Final Fight, just a much darker version. Goose, much like Cody, is going after a gang that wronged him and his girl. Only, unlike Final Fight, she wasn't kidnapped, she was destroyed with golf clubs. Look, fuck the details, okay? When you get right down to it, it's a badass street fighter in a broken down city going after a huge gang on his own because revenge. You throw in a pro wrestler Mayor and some karate guy, and you've got Final Fight. And no, I don't mean a dark version of Final Fight the way Streetwise tried to make it. That game sucked shit! But I digress. Deadbeat at Dawn is Final Fight on one player using Cody. Deadbeat at Dawn is to games like Final Fight and Streets of Rage, as Miami Connection was to games like Bad Dudes and Double Dragon. And if you haven't seen my video on Miami Connection, I'm sure I'll make more references to video games and shit. I mentioned that this film is like a darker version of Final Fight. Now, that isn't simply because the Cody character's girl ends up dying instead of simply being a distressed damsel. It's that the whole film in itself has a thick smog of sleaze coating it, from the way the characters are depicted, the soundtrack, and the clearly genuine city slums. Goose, for instance, was never exactly a clear-cut hero. Sure, he's a badass, and you do root for him, and his quest for revenge is valid, but his character arc isn't exactly that simple. The dude still does questionable shit that keeps him walking the razor's edge between good and bad. He's an anti-hero swaying very heavily toward the anti-part. Besides moments of random dickery toward Christy, which he does make up for, the dude still partakes in Grand Theft Auto. His day job when he quits the Ravens isn't exactly a respectable one. He deals drugs on the street to get by, and will steal from a store if he needs to replenish his health. Really though, how do characters in beat-em-ups keep finding discarded soda cans and shit on the street? To be fair, it was likely too hard to animate Hagar smashing through a 7-Eleven to boost his health. Goose doesn't go headlong directly into vigilante justice mode either. He instead decides to drink as much as possible, make an ass out of himself at bars, do a shitload of drugs, and eventually comes down to the point of wanting to kill himself in an alley while some weird homeless guy watches and eggs him on. The story begins to shift into vigilante mode when Goose's friend Keith, who now controls the Ravens, finds Goose ready to kill himself. Keith wants Goose back in the Ravens for one final score, robbing an armored car, but shit's changed. Now the Ravens are working with the Spiders, and Goose knows for a fact that it was Danny that had Christy killed. Danny's plan is to kill Goose and the Ravens after the heist. And it's officially here that the movie goes into full-blown beat-em-up mode, and it is fucking glorious. Goose was naturally expecting a double cross. Armed to the teeth, he goes head-to-head against Danny and his thugs, wrecking everyone's shit with the pure ultra-violence of 80s action. Motherfuckers get beaten the fuck up with nunchucks and general badass kung fury. Heads roll, throats are ripped out, bodies strewn about the inner city slums. Goose is a goddamn tornado of death, and it's an amazing thing to witness. There's even time for a character arc. Goose has taken the money from the heist, and he's going to give it to Christy's sister because he's becoming like an actual good guy and shit. Deadbeat at Dawn is a cinema masterpiece. A film made for vigilantes, 80s thrash metal enthusiasts, and just straight up bad dudes in general.
I hate people, man. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about nothing.
This is a heavy metal version of The Warriors with an Abel Ferrara vibe. It has that filthy tone of flicks like Driller Killer and Miss 45, injected with gangland action of flicks like The Warriors, fueled with violence that rivals the likes of any Italian exploitation splatterfest. This movie has it all. For a film with such a tiny budget, it stands up with such a grand-scale bravado. You get a clear sense that Jim Van Beber really had a vision for this movie and absolutely saw it through. It's cool, it's dangerous, it's gritty and dirty, and metal as all fuck. The movie was shot over a course of 4 years in Dayton, Ohio, and released in 1988. There's a part that's very reminiscent of a scene from 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street, when Nancy is asleep in class and dreams about seeing Tina's corpse in a body bag. Goose has a similar dream where he sees Christy in a graveyard, walking around in a bloody white sheet. With how long it took Deadbeat at Dawn to be released, I'm gonna rack that one up to coincidence. Jim Van Beber, director, actor, and writer of Deadbeat at Dawn, is responsible for other films of ultra sleaze, like The Manson Family, which was officially released in 2004, but production for it began in 1988. Man, if you want a prime example of never giving up, there you go. The film remained as an incomplete work in progress for years until Dark Sky Films finally stepped in to help with the needed funding and distribution.
I am the baddest motherfucker you ever saw, man!
Mr. Van Beber's most recent ventures have been appearing in classy productions like the snuff-sploitation film American Guinea Pig, Bouquet of Guts and Gore, a tribute to the Japanese guinea pig films, in particular Flower of Flesh and Blood. His work is going to be given the appreciation it deserves in the documentary Diary of a Deadbeat, though as awesome as that sounds, I'm a lot more excited for this one. He's going to be starring in a movie called Detroit Rising, in which he plays a shell-shocked war vet that comes home to find the American dream in ruins. Fuck yes! I think it's safe to say that movies like Deadbeat at Dawn are still incredibly relevant, as it's a subgenre that's still so widely adored. Passion projects like Kung Fury are a testament to that. What went from a goofy little trailer on YouTube a few years ago more than achieves its Kickstarter goal, and within hours of the completed film's free YouTube release, it garners millions of views, not to mention a TV debut on Robert Rodriguez's El Rey network. And of course, Kung Fury already has a Final Fight style beat-em-up game, and it looks awesome. On that note, I thank you for watching. I'm the Cine-Masochist, and no one can match my twisting typhoon kick!